and welcome to Friday Friends. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Carly, and we're Next Chapter Home Team.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi, welcome to today's episode of Friday Friends. This week we're with Sharon Shaffer of Glass City Stagers. Welcome, Sharon.
Thank you.
Today we're going to talk about preparing your house to sell.
And speaking of houses to sell, you recently had to help prepare the house that you grew up in.
Right. So I'm the youngest of 9. 8 girls and 1 boy. We're the opposite of the Osmond family. Born and raised right here out of Sylvania out of Lake Michigan. My dad just recently passed away, and so I had to kind of practice what I preach with sellers about their home. And it was hard.
Sharon, what are 5 quick tips that sellers need to do when they're getting ready to sell their home?
Emotionally detachment from the home, which is harder than saying it. Curb appeal, of course. Just making repairs, decluttering, and clearing out, and deep cleaning the home, and then painting, making sure lighting and all of that. I mean, it all adds up. All these small things add up to one big thing.
With the emotionally detaching from a home, why is it important for sellers to do this?
Well, for instance, so my dad built a home. They lived there for 58 years. It was my childhood home. It was all I knew. You have to start emotionally detaching yourself because you're going to be leaving it, and you're taking all your memories with you. But I do find when I walk through with sellers, it's one of the hardest things because they either built the home, they raised their kids there. There's so many memories. And I've seen people visibly crying. If you look at it, if you start detaching yourself emotionally, you look at it, it's your biggest investment, and you're going to be selling it. And then you're going to start making new memories, whether you're downsizing, moving across country. And I think for me personally, it's easy for me with sellers because I move so much with my husband's job, and not just from staying in the same city. I mean, we moved across the country with toddlers.
Right.
Wow.
And that's really when I learned, technically, it's just a home. Memories and all that you take with you.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a good first step because once you can move past the emotion, then you can start to make the changes that are going to then appeal to the buyers, which is what we're trying to do. We want to appeal to the buyers to get you the best price.
Right, absolutely. People love, their green carpet or their navy blue carpet or their paint colors or whatever, and it's that is buyer specific. And so when you do prepare your home for the market, you really do just want to neutralize so that it appeals to the majority of the buyers. The thing that I tell people is curb appeal. That's where it all starts. That's the first impression. So what I suggest to sellers is go outside your home and walk around to see what needs to be done. Cobwebs, do the windows need to be recaulked and painted? How about pressure washing either the siding or the sidewalk? Are your screens damaged? If they are, take them down and store them or repair them and put them back up. Wash the windows. Look at your gutters. Do they need to be cleaned? I mean, all the stuff. The shrubs, are they hoarding or growing over the front sidewalk where the buyers are going to be walking? As realtors? You're fumbling with the key in the lockbox and the buyers are standing there, they got about a few minutes to look around. I mean, they're taking inventory of every little thing. And so I do tell sellers, I'm kind of like the objective buyer coming in.
Right.
I don't know them, I've never been in their home. So my eye goes everywhere. Buyers are getting that impression, observing the outside of the house. They're already formulating what the inside is going to be like. Because if you're not taking care of the outside,
then what makes you think you're taking care of the inside?
So make sure that the light bulbs on the front porch work, especially for nighttime showings and stuff. Make sure the glass isn't broken. I mean, it's all those little, I tell people, it's all little small ticky-tack stuff, but it all adds up to one big thing.
Well, and I like to tell my sellers, maintenance is sometimes more important than the updates, because I can change the counters, I can change the carpet, yes, but if a house hasn't been taken care of for the last 20 years,
Right.
What bigger surprises can I not even see?
Right. And even just, making sure the lawn is cut, making sure your landscape is presentable or cleaned up, edge your driveway. I mean, it's all these little things. Emotionally disconnect, curb appeal because of the photos. Because 98% of buyers start their look online, and you literally have less than 3 seconds to grab their attention before they swipe.
Right.
Number 3 is clean. I cannot stress this enough. If you cannot deep clean, if you're not good at cleaning or you don't want to, hiring a professional cleaner because it is worth it. Do the windows inside and out, especially on dreary winter days like this in the Midwest. You know, we want them clean. You know, take the screens down, let more light in. And bathrooms, tile floor, pets, if you have pets, you know,
Grout
neutralize.
and caulk. You want
Yes.
to clean those things up.
Yeah, you can rent ionizer machines or, you know, just something to neutralize. Read online, like ways you can get rid of pet smell and carpet or, you know, and I am begging every seller out there, do not do plugins. Plugins, no, because you know, what does that tell?
That they're covering
They're covering
something
up
else.
Yes, yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I've suggested air purifiers before,
Mhm.
especially if you have pets, and it's something you could take to your next house too, you know, to reduce the odor, because I've had sellers say, oh, I must have gone nose blind, and we don't want to make offense, but buyers will say those things, and so invest in that air purifier.
Mhm.
You can take it to the next house, and you know, then people are coming into your house thinking fresh, clean.
right.
It's a place they want to live too.
Hey, that's a biggie for me. Clean, you know, hire somebody to clean if you don't like to, because
Yeah,
Okay.
even if like you're up to date on all the maintenance, but the house is dirty, it just puts a bad taste for the buyers where it makes them feel like the house is not as in good a condition because it's dirty, it's
Right,
gross.
light switches, door
Yes.
handles, the door itself where the handle is.
Cupboards.
Like, who wants to reach? Like, how many times have you reached for that? Yeah, and you're like,
Well, I think that's something that people forget a lot because there's been a number of houses, well, and we always have to find all the light switches for every
Yes,
room.
Where's
right.
this one
But-
go? What's
yeah,
that one
yeah.
for?
Yeah, where there's just fingerprints and stuff
Right.
on it that people just forget,
Mhm.
but then also you're like, oh, okay.
you know, it spills down the wall. I mean, all of it.
Like when you live in a house
Yeah.
versus when you're selling a house, we want to present a different story.
Yeah.
And it's hard because we see these houses in magazines and we're like, oh, these are so beautiful, and then we live in them and we're like, this is different, but that's practical too. You can't live in a magazine.
Yeah.
But we want it to look like that
Right.
when you're selling, which
Right.
can be difficult.
Right.
Which is also very beneficial to have someone else come in and have it with fresh eyes that's not emotionally attached to anything, because you might have, when you moved into the house, had this whole checklist of stuff to do that like must be done, and then life gets busy, you
Sure.
learn to live with it, you start to not notice it anymore.
Right. Get comfortable. Right.
Or
It's
just
fine.
need to know how someone else might see it, not in a critical way.
Right.
Constructive criticism,
Right.
right? Not I'm coming in and demeaning you or
Right.
trying to put you down. This is what other people want to see, and if we want to sell at the best price, they need to see this instead.
Right.
And then you also mentioned decluttering. What are some tips that you give people on how to declutter or how to tackle that?
One thing I do tell sellers when I'm walking through is start packing away your seasonal items now. So all your summer clothes that you're not going to be needing, start packing those things away. Fine china, you know, fancy glasses or barware or whatever. Anything that you don't use on a daily or weekly basis or even monthly or maybe once a year, start packing that stuff away. Find an area in your home where you can start staging your packing boxes and leave them like a foot away from the wall so that buyers, when they're coming down, they can walk around them, they can see that you're not trying to hide a hole in the wall or a bad floor or something like that. And the same with collectibles. You know, we all collect things. They're all beautiful and sentimental to us. You want people to look at the house, not at your personal collectibles, which are beautiful. Same with personal pictures. You know, people walk through and go, do I know that person who lives here?
Yes,
You know,
all the
or
time.
I suggest to people, look, you know what? I know it's a pain, and I don't want you to feel like you're living in a museum because technically it is still your home. But just take these pictures down and stick them in a desk drawer or stick them under your bed if you have a bed ruffle or whatever that people can't see them. And then when the open house or the showing is over, go back and put it back up so you feel like you're still in your home.
Minimalist is kind of the go-to term
Right.
when it comes to preparing your house.
Mhm.
Only leave what you need.
Right. If it has a purpose, you know, but if it doesn't, it probably doesn't need to be there. Yeah. Space planning is huge because you want to create that traffic flow. You don't want someone coming in and bumping into the sofa, the hutch or whatever and saying, oh my gosh, there's not enough room in here, forget it, this isn't for us. Sometimes it's just taking it out of the room and putting it down the basement.
And kind of the opposite to that is in a vacant home.
Mhm.
Sometimes if a room is empty, like a bedroom, buyers cannot visualize what size bed can fit, if a bed can fit at all, where really you could have a nice set, but like they're just like, oh, this room looks so small, my king size bed won't fit in here. Very helpful to have the right size furniture in a room, but also to have some set up for vacant houses too.
Right. And you know what's interesting, because it seems backwards, but a room feels larger when there's actually furniture in it. But it has to be that scale to size correct furniture. And less is more, and that goes with the minimal. You know?
Right, less is more, the right furniture for the space.
Right. There was a house in Oregon, Ohio, where their feedback was the kids' rooms were just too small. They just, so she actually paid me to, she wanted a twin bed. I actually ended up bringing a queen bed with a nightstand. It's old.
What are some stats about the effectiveness of staging?
Sell for higher money and are on the market for less amount of time. Vacant staging sellers can see up to 17-18% of a return on interest.
Sharon, one other thing that is kind of one of the cheapest ways to freshen up or stage a space is painting. Let's talk about that.
Yep. So again, it's when you're preparing your home, for the market, it's just about using those neutral colors that appeal to the majority of buyers that look best in pictures. I recommend just to neutralize that. It is important, and I know it's a hassle, I know it is, but it is one of the least expensive ways to update your home immediately. And one of the other things is crucial is lighting. I tell people, make sure all your light bulbs work, make sure that they all match in the specific light fixture. And then the other thing is a good photographer that has the eye, that has the lighting, that can really make those pictures pop. That's huge.
Yeah.
Along with the lighting, there is some homes where there are not overhead light. If for some reason people are taking out their furniture and having vacant, it is nice to have lights in there because 3 months it gets dark at like 5:30, and you go through a house and there are rooms where there is absolutely no light in it, where you have your phone out.
Can I see the walls?
Right.
Floor lamps.
Yeah, that absolutely is true. Yes, so I literally just staged a home that you ladies just described, and so I brought in a 6 set of lamps, and that's not including my floor lamps that I brought in. And then I had to go around to each plug to see which plug the light switch, so that when an agent or buyer came through in the evening, they could, because it's dark.
It is dark early, and then you walk into a house that you're not familiar with.
Right. At night.
Yeah, at night, and you can't see it. And plus, houses just show better when they're more lit up.
Yes.
Well, and it's safer too, because sometimes it might be a drop down, a sunken family room or something like that. You don't see it. So, no, absolutely. If your house is vacant, even if you don't want to pay for staging, have lamps in. If there's a light switch, make sure that it's connected to that, because people want to see what that room looks like.
Well, thank you so much. Those were some great tips on how to prepare houses to go to sale and why staging is so important.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.